The Lorna M. Johnson Global Institute is rooted in equality and justice. We are committed to exploring innovative, non-traditional modalities and approaches to positively shift cultural norms relating to bias, hate, and disparities. I am Lorna M. Johnson. Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us today as we discuss the fierce urgency of this moment. A great moment for healing communications and bridging the divides within race, culture, faith, media, and politics. We must be the change we seek. In the spirit of my hero and friend, the late great John Lewis, aka the soul of the nation, we have work to do towards that more perfect union and a better us. Get into good trouble, he would always say. Let's follow the compass of love for one another. Open our hearts and inspire the best in each of us, eliminating the virus of bigotry and confusion. Responding to the call of our moral compass for a more perfect union, I ask each and every one of you to join me in bridging the divide by sharing your bridge building ideas through the Lorna M. Johnson Global Institute Town Hall. The future is in our hands. Well, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Thank you for tuning in to this special edition of the Lorna M. Johnson Global Institute Virtual Town Hall. I hope you're hosting a Facebook party, sharing this link, inviting your friends and family, and most importantly, letting us know your thoughts in the comment section. On this special edition, we celebrate the 100th anniversary of the 19th Amendment. We celebrate how Black women have shown up in the political spectrum. The first Black woman to be a presidential candidate was Shirley Chisholm. And now we have the first woman vice presidential candidate, Kamala Harris. Yes, we have come a long way in the past 100 years, and still we have so much further to go. The 19th Amendment was not, even though the Jim Crow law did not allow for Black women and men to participate equally in this freedom. Yet Black women like Mary Church Terrell, Harriet Tubman, Ida B. Wells, and Mary McLeod Bethune still fought for the rights of all women. There is so much her story to be told, and we must continue to share these stories through using our voices and with the power of the vote. We cannot just rest on our laurels or think passing one bill or another will create change. We must seed into the next generation so that they understand the power of their voice and their future contribution. In sharing our stories, we educate our young girls and lift them up. And so the Lorna M. Johnson Global Institute has invited 100 women to write letters to young girls in an effort to continue our stories and to inspire these future leaders. It is time for girls to rule the world. And in this letter we received, the women leading the way are passing a fire-fueled torch. One of our first respondents to the call was my friend, Angela Reed. Angela held a historic appointment, the first woman to manage the White House operations, serving one of the persons that we consider to be the most consequential in the history of our country, Michelle and Barack Obama. Her letter was filled with energy And as she put it, it was so inspiring. She calls it the Girl Tribe. And so I told her I have to steal this Girl Tribe thing, because it was so powerful. And so to begin this conversation, I've asked her to join me in co-moderating today's event. So welcome, Angela, and thank you for agreeing to join me.
Of course. Thanks, Lorna. I'm so excited to be here and to meet these young ladies and to hear their stories and to share some of mine. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Well, I'm so glad you took my invitation, because I was really surprised actually when I called and you said yes. But I saw your letter and I said I was going to use the letter for the whole show basically, because it was so powerful. So I really, really appreciate you, agreeing to join me, and hopefully the girls will enjoy it. You will have fun, and we'll all learn a lot from this.
Absolutely. It's my pleasure. As one of my Girl Tribe members said to me some time ago, you have to lean into things that you're uncomfortable with. So I'm not necessarily, the Facebook host, experienced Facebook host as you are, but I decided I had to say yes so I can, help a sister out,
Appreciate that. There we go. Help a sister out. So I really appreciate that.
Absolutely.
So what else has been going on in your life in terms of what are you doing now that is exciting that you want to share with us?
What's exciting is last October, I co-founded my own consulting firm with a partner of mine out in Vegas, Olivia. So, we're working really hard on that. And in spite of COVID, we're just doing a lot of fundamental work to set the company up for success once everything, the business returns as we expect and anticipate it will next year. So we're very busy with that.
That's great. Sounds amazing. What else do you want to share with us before we jump right into it? We have some beautiful girls here today, and I'm sure they're going to be learning a lot. And hopefully this will be a start of something exciting for us that we can continue with.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I'm just really anxious to hear from the girls.
Okay.
Are you ready to do that, or?
I'm ready, but there's one thing that, Angela, you wrote a beautiful letter, like I said before, but in that letter, you call them the Girl Tribe.
Yeah.
And one of the things you mentioned in that letter was your mother was your inspiration. Mm-hmm. But you also talked about Angela Davis, how she inspired you and motivated you. What was it about her that you would like to share with these ladies before they come in about Angela Davis?
Well, when I was 15, I was quite the impressionable young girl in high school. And I, living in Jamaica, of course, as both of us are from Jamaica, so you're familiar with high school back home. And I read a story about Angela Davis. And, at the time, she had gotten herself into, a little bit of trouble. And so there was a lot of news about her being, somewhat of an activist, sort of a revolutionary was how she was labeled. However, her quest was really to, she was fighting for equality and desegregation. But the three things that really attracted me to her were, one, she had my name, Angela, though I spell mine with 2 L's. She wore this really amazing afro, right? That reminded me of Foxy Brown. And I don't know if you remember Foxy Brown in the movies. And then someone gave me a T-shirt that had the message on there, Angela for President. So I wore the heck out of that T-shirt in high school and after. I think it just became tatters. But what it was about her, as I learned more about her story, was really about her fearlessness. She was described as a feminist, but she was really, in my opinion, if I can use this term, she was really a badass. She faced off with the justice system and other organizations, in her quest for racial justice. And that Angela for President, my name on a T-shirt was just really a big deal for me at the time, even though I don't know, president of what. In the long run, I never became president, but I became the first woman to run the operations of the White House for a president. So I guess what inspired me was, one, having that sort of iconic view of this woman who looked like me, for one, the fact that she was so forward thinking and, passionate about what she believed in. And I had some of that at 15, but nothing compared to what she did. But I just wanted to be like her. I wanted to be persistent. I wanted to be strong. I wanted to be independent, and I wanted to be fearless. And of course, I wanted to be smart as well. So that was something that really kind of fueled my fire. It wasn't the only person. I just recalled her because of our names being the same. So she really just, formulated an early impression in my young 15-year-old self and thereafter. And it really, I still carry those I have those personal motivations now. I mean, I am a go-getter. I'm a risk taker. I've sort of gone on this journey, and what the journey is like, I dreamt big. I didn't dream especially to be a superstar, but I just wanted to be somebody. I wanted to study hard and just take advantage of every opportunity that was presented to me. And so, for the ladies that we're going to be talking to this evening, I just want them to understand that, they too should have that same drive, and I'm sure that they do, and that they should dream big. One thing they have to do is invest in their education. I mean, that is something that no matter what you do, nobody can take that away from you. So really do the work in school, and obviously aim for college. And if college doesn't actually work out, there's so many other ways to get an education that will prepare you for life. And the Girl Tribe that I mentioned is really, I have this group of friends, girls who, whenever I'm in a high or low state of mind, I can reach out to them and they're going to pull me through. They're either going to, give me some tough love and say, hey girl, toughen up, or hey, say, hey, we understand, here's what you need to do. So
right.
Yeah, we just want these young ladies to start crafting their story and creating a toolkit that's going to be so helpful for them as they grow older.
Awesome.
So I think we want to talk about that as we go through the entire session tonight.
Wow, that sounds amazing. I mean, being young and the impression you leave with someone could be lasting. And so we have to be careful with young people as we try to help to raise them. So at this time, why don't we just bring the Girl Tribe in and impart some more wisdom and read some of these letters and hear what they have to say, because these girls are just brimming with possibilities. So let's start with Sierra Cook, graduated from high school during this crazy COVID season with a virtual ceremony. She will attend Compton College on a basketball scholarship. So welcome. Where is she? Hey, there we go. Hi, Sarah.
Hi.
Welcome. Hi, good. So next we go to Destiny. Destiny Hazel is a 16-year-old drummer. She's going to be in going to grade 10 with an aspiration on becoming a doctor. So
hi, Destiny.
There we go. Welcome, Destiny.
Hi.
Next we have Lemaya Hayden, is 13 years old. And she is, when she's not helping with her little sister, her mom with her little sister, she is writing, singing, and dancing. So ladies, welcome to the show.
Hi.
Hi, Lemaya. Where is she? I can't see her. I can't see Lemaya. Is she in? Okay. Okay. All right. Well, welcome, ladies. Did you listen to Angela's words of inspiration? Destiny. Let's see.
Still talking to Lamaya.
Lamaya.
Yes.
Did you listen to Angela's words of inspiration?
Yes.
What did you get from it? Did you anything special that resonated with you that you remember?
The Girl Tribe.
Yes. You like that, huh? Like girl power. I like that too. That's what really got me first to the Girl Tribe. I like that. How about you, Sierra?
I was going to say the same thing. I think it's important that, the female community stick together, because everybody's always bashing everybody. But I think everybody is a room for a lot of people to win. So I think everybody should just work together. So I thought the girl tribe idea was pretty cool.
Yeah, and you should also surround yourself with sort of your board of directors. Have a group as you continue to grow and evolve. Just keep adding folks to your group.
Why is it doing that?
Okay. Somebody's a little noisy back there. Okay. Okay, let's see.
Destiny,
Am I?
we did not. Destiny, what are your thoughts?
Very good how you built the girl empire and how successful it was and how it still goes strong today. Mommy, it's doing that noise again. You might have to mute it.
Great.
Is that Angela? Angela, I think you had mentioned there are a few things that you had talked about in your letter about challenges, facing challenges, managing diversity, or investing in yourself for the girls. What were your thoughts on that and how? And then I think you may want to ask them a few questions about that.
No, I think I mentioned I mentioned in my letter that no matter what, as you journey through life, you're going to face adversities, right? You are going to fail. Stuff's going to happen to you that you're going to make mistakes in, and you're going to be disappointed. But the one thing I encourage you to do is do not be daunted by your failure. I call it failing forward. That means you learn from your mistakes. You sort of evaluate why you failed or you made this mistake, and you sort of again, that's where the girl tribe comes in, because you can talk about this stuff without judgment, and then they can help you frame a whole new response for the future. So it really, mistakes are a gift, right? They really help you, because if you haven't experienced something for the first time, how are you ever going to be prepared to handle it? Just like we haven't been prepared to handle the pandemic. So yeah, adversity is going to come along, but do not shy away from it. It's a part of life. It's just a matter of how you deal with that adversity. That's what's going to make the difference. And it's, as long as you are, I think you understand who you are, you know what your strengths are, you know the things that you're not good at, and you have people in your life who can help compensate for those things that you're not good at. I think that would be really, really helpful. So, investing in yourself, it's the same thing where first, your only job right now, I think, is probably going to school. So you want to make sure that you take full advantage of the education, regardless of what it is. And I can tell you that it is not necessarily everything in the classroom, right? You learn things as you meet and interact with people. You walk down the street. So I believe in street smarts. That I'm the girl who grew up with learning stuff from just soaking it all in, taking all the stuff that people say and do, and figuring out what works for me. So I encourage you all to really start doing that as well as you continue to grow. And
but yeah, I like what Angela says, but one thing we have to be careful with the girls, with the street smart, is make sure you're hanging around. Street smart doesn't mean to hang out on the street with bad kids that doesn't have any good, anything good for you. You want to hang around people that have similar ways or where you were brought up by your mom. So you want to have people that's going to make you a better person, not people who's going to pull you down or take you in the wrong direction. In Jamaica, my mom usually have a saying that says, birds of a feather flock together, right? So you want to hang around people that you're going to learn from and who you're going to help you to grow and be a better person. So at this point, where is Destiny? Is Destiny on? Destiny, who is your letter from? Did you get a letter from someone?
Oh, yeah, it's from, I don't know how to pronounce her name. Ambassador Ericana Chihomebori. I don't know how to say it.
Keep going, keep trying. It's okay.
You did very well.
You did very, very well, very well. I bet you never heard that a name like that before. So where do you think that name came from? Can you guess? Have any idea where she's from? Did you try to look it up?
She's not from here.
Okay. All right. Well, you did good. Her name is Ambassador Arikana Chiambore-Kwa. Okay. So that's her name. And what did you see in the letter that really, anything that inspired you or caught your attention?
So it was this part where she said, "Who would have thought I would become a successful medical doctor, founder and owner of medical clinics, diploma public speaker, educator, and an entrepreneur in the United States and known all over the world. I can tell you one person who always believed in me and believed that I would achieve all I set out to do, and that person was my mother."
Wow. That is awesome. So what does that tell you?
So the first part to me would be that if she is from somewhere else, it is um surprising that you can be successful in other places. You don't just have to be successful from where you're from. And
Does it make you feel like you can do it too?
yes.
Absolutely. Okay. So I'm going to show you a little clip so you can learn a little bit more about her, and then we'll continue the conversation. Okay?
Hmm.
All right. Let's watch. Ambassador Arikana Shiamboriki is a medical doctor and an activist. As a public speaker, educator, diplomat, and founder of medical clinics, she moved to the United States from Zimbabwe and was appointed the African Union representative to the United States in 2017. If you have any questions about Africa, you want to speak with the ambassador because she is all things Africa. And after her schooling, you will know that you are too. Okay, so there we go. That's Dr. Arikana, and she is a medical doctor in her country, and she's also the ambassador. She was an ambassador for the African Union, and she is a doctor, and she wanted you to know that you can be a doctor too. We're gonna jump around until we can bring her back in because I think she's somewhere. She's not. We're not seeing her in the waiting room at the moment, so we're gonna keep moving. Okay. So the next person up is gonna be, let's see,
Lamaya.
Lamaya.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead,
So
Angela.
Lamaya, yeah, Lamaya, tell me a little bit about who your letter was from and what inspired you in this letter that you received. Tell us what it was about.
My letter came from Shirley Ralph, and what inspired me from the letter is when she said, "Enjoy time with your mother, your sister, and with your friends. Remember, not every friend is a friend." And my mother always taught me that not every friend is going to be my friend and be there for me. And I
Mm-hmm.
love spending time with my mom and my sister.
Way to go. Absolutely.
Keep going.
I think we're about to see a clip from Charlie Ralph.
This special guest had her breakthrough role as Dina Jones in the Broadway musical Dreamgirls, where she received a Tony Award nomination for the Best Actress in a Musical. An American actress, singer, author, activist, and philanthropist, Cheryl Lee Ralph. Wow, have you ever met Cheryl Lee?
I
No,
have. And she's a fellow Jamaican, right? So that's a good.
Yes, I think we're having some challenges with people getting on the show. So we'll just keep it moving. So tell me about the letter you received and what are the things that you liked about the letter or that got your attention?
one of the things that caught my attention is when she also says, "Life is short, no matter how long you live," because I think you need to always embrace and never hold back, and always follow your dreams and conquer them because life is too short to hold back.
Awesome. That's right. She says, enjoy each day of your life, whether it's with your family, your friends, and that's awesome. That's awesome. And she's really, you like dancing, right? You like the
Yes,
arts? You
She's a
like
drummer,
dancing and
right?
playing music.
Who's the drummer?
yes,
Is it Lamaya?
no,
I,
Oh, who's the drummer?
Destiny, I think, is the drummer,
Oh, okay.
Definitely.
right? And
Yeah.
Sierra is a basketball player.
I drum with
Oh,
Destiny too.
So
okay.
Lamaya, do we have? Can we talk more about the letter or about Lamaya's dreams as well, or do you have Cheryl Lee ready?
No, she's not. Keep going.
So yeah, so Lamaya, I think you're absolutely correct about not holding back because we have this one opportunity to seize. You probably heard the term carpe diem. So sometimes opportunities come to you not in the form that you plan them. And what I encourage you and all the girls to do is to really try to open every door because you never know what's behind it. For me, the opportunity that I got to serve at the White House was not planned. It was actually by pure serendipity, and that's how I would describe it. And if I hadn't sort of cold called the White House, I would never have gotten that job. So, you never know what's behind that door. And if a door closes, just keep opening them until you find what you're what really sends you. What you're passionate about. So I absolutely echo what you're saying about not holding back.
Great.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
All righty. So, what else would you like to share with are you excited about being on the show today?
Yes.
Okay. Let's see, Lamaya, what else would you like to share about you that you think you have in you that you could share with your other peers today? Maybe share with Sierra that you're excited about. And do you understand what we're celebrating? It's the 100th anniversary of the women's right to vote,
Yes,
right?
I understand.
Okay, but I think Sierra, she's 17. You're 17, right, Sierra?
Yes.
And you're going to be 18 soon,
In October,
correct? In October. So
Oh,
what is it really important around this time, knowing that you're going to be 18?
just to get registered
To
to
be
vote.
able to vote.
right
Right.
on.
Go ahead. Yes. And then and you're going to make sure your other peers are also knowing how to vote, register to vote.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Did you look it up? Because you told me you weren't sure where to go. Did you find out where to go?
Yeah, I did. I got the website.
Oh, great. So would you like to share it with some of your friends?
Yes. The website is rockthevote.org, and you're gonna need a driver's license or like a legal ID, your social security card, and your birth date. And hopefully, I already registered, so I'll be ready to vote when I turn 18. So my
Oh
voice will be
wow,
heard.
amazing, amazing. I'm sure you've heard we're in the time of um, a lot of conversation about voting, but I think it is when I became a citizen of the United States, that was one of the things that I held very sacred, and that is voting, that no matter what, I'm going to exercise that right to share my voice and to actually participate in the government. Because why, especially for you young ladies, we grew up in a time when the environment and life was very different, and you now need to make choices for your future. You can't, you shouldn't be living based on the decisions that we made 20, 30 years ago. So,
Right.
I encourage you to, the voting is how you express what you want. You want to have the right to make choices for your own, body, and who serves you, and etc. So it's a very powerful thing. And when elections are lost by 200 votes, we recognize how critical every single vote is. We cannot sit on the sidelines. It just doesn't. It just cannot happen anymore. So, congratulations, Sierra, and
Thank
we'll be touching bases with you after election day, or before election day anyway, to make sure that you're ready to vote.
you. Okay.
Okay. Let's see. Who else have a letter? Who has a letter? Who has a letter from Maxine,
I do.
Congresswoman Maxine Waters?
I do.
Okay. Would you like to share that with us?
Yes. You want me to read the whole thing or just?
No, tell me what you like about it. What was in there that really got your
Well,
attention that you think you can follow?
first foremost, I like how she acknowledged my accomplishments, like graduating high school and being a college student at 17 years old. Um, I thought that was pretty cool. And the thing that stood out for me was the quote that she put at the end by Sojourner Truth. Um, it says, "In these challenging times, I want you to remember Sojourner's words and know that you were born of great power, and that you can achieve anything you could imagine in your wildest dreams. You are mine and Sojourner's hope for the future, and we are counting on you to win the future and turn this world right side up again. I wish you all the best at Compton College."
I thought that was powerful too. That
Yeah,
is awesome that you felt the same way. I guess you're a
absolutely.
basketball player and you're a winner. So you felt that. I really felt that. And so you now have, she told you that you are her hope for
Mm-hmm.
the future. And that make you feel
I take
responsible?
that personal. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I know you're going to go out there and win, right?
Yes.
Absolutely. That's what it's all about. So I am very excited about that. Anything else that you want to share with us? Or anybody else want to um, talk about Sierra's letter?
Maybe
Did
there are
Sierra,
questions that they have, any questions for us?
Destiny, do you have any questions you have for us or about the letter,
Um,
Maxine's letter?
no, right now, no.
Okay.
I have a question.
Go ahead, Sierra.
Um, so like what's the real importance of registering to vote and voting and just getting out there? Like is it like part you do like community service and stuff, like to go help at the polls and things like that?
Angela?
I'm sorry, I really didn't hear the question. Well, please repeat that again.
I said like what is the real importance of voting, like other than to get your voice heard out there?
Well, I think that is the primary. You participate in how you're governed. I think that's one of the primary reasons for voting is that you are setting the tone for how you're governed. There are usually a lot of questions are asked at the voting booth about particular things like the environment, for example. It's not just about casting a vote for a person. It's usually laws, local laws, state laws, etc., that you're being asked to participate in. It could impact your schools. It could impact your health. Also healthcare questions. So I think it's just relevance. I think it's just more relevant for you to have an active say. Just like when you're in school, you don't just simply sit back and have the teacher download lessons. It's interactive, and you participate and you share, and the diversity of everyone sharing is what creates this amazing quilt of incredible women and women leaders, because you learn from each other in that exchange. So voting is just that fundamental right that a lot of women, they went on hunger strikes, they went to prison, they had so much adversity that they faced in order for we to get to this point. So I don't think it's something that should be taken lightly or squandered or ignored, because so many people suffered to sort of make it possible for us to exercise this right and this freedom. So it's such a all encompassing activity, and it doesn't happen very frequently. So it's time well spent. You go to vote a couple times a year. You know what I mean? So yeah, you can say I participated. I helped choose the direction in which my country and my community is moving, and right?
Okay.
I was
Awesome. Was someone saying something?
also I was
I'm
gonna encourage the rest of my drumline to vote as well, because it's a lot of 18-year-olds and 17-year-olds in my drumline that I feel need to get out there and vote too.
awesome. Awesome. Let's do I think I understand that Congresswoman Yvette Clarke is in the waiting room. So let's bring her in and let her join the conversation. So in the meantime, let's go ahead and do you have a Congresswoman Yvette Diane Clarke was first elected to office in 2002 when she won over the city council seat held by her mom, Dr. Una Clarke. In 2006, she was then elected to the U.S. Congress representing New York 11th Congressional District, previously held by the late Shirley Chisholm, unbossed and unbought. Chisholm, the first black woman to Congress and the first black woman to run for president of a major party in the United States. Congresswoman Clarke now represents the 9th Congressional District in New York as a result of redistricting. Congresswoman Yvette Clarke, welcome, welcome to the show. We have some beautiful girls waiting for your words of wisdom. Welcome. I'm glad you were able to join.
I've been
Colleen
listening
was
to
supposed to
them.
be
Thank
here.
you for inviting me.
It's
I'm
so good
glad
to
you
see
came.
you
Thank you for
again.
having me. Likewise, Angela, it's so wonderful to hear your voice and to the young sisters, Destiny, Lamaya, and is it Sierra?
Sierra.
Good to
Yeah.
see you, young lady. Yes, it's great to be with you.
Well, I know you
So,
also wrote a powerful letter to the girls, and I know they were very. We shared your letter with them, and you had some very very powerful words in there. And I know one of the answers to the question that she just asked, I pulled it right out of one of your letters, and it says, "Voting is the most significant amplification of your voice. Use it." So that was in your letter. So why don't we talk to the girls about the
absolutely.
importance of voting, what or for women have suffered and bled and all of that good stuff. And now we are here, the importance of making sure that we don't take all of that for granted.
Let me first of all commend, is it Sierra who's going to vote for the first time this year? That she registered,
Yay.
that she took the time to do the research and find out how to register to vote. I'm so, so proud of you.
Thank
You
you.
know, in a democracy, which is the form of government that our nation takes, being able to determine who you see as leading your community, your state, your nation is a very powerful, powerful tool. And you working alongside your peers, alongside your family, alongside your community can really affect change through using your vote. So I'm so glad that you decided to do that because, indeed, we're in a time where we are fortunate to have the right to vote. I think that the 19th Amendment was a hard fought battle. And I wrote in my letter that it took, over a generation for the women of that day to be able to gain the right to vote. It had to, and it was an amendment to the Constitution, which meant that it took even longer than legislating in the Congress because you had to get each individual state to ratify the amendment. And that means that each state had different ways of viewing themselves and viewing their societies. And these women had to impact each individual state, build momentum and movement in each state before they could actually see the vote, the amendment, excuse me, to the Constitution come to life. Many of those women fought for that right and never lived long enough to actually see it come to life. And then we know it took 45 more years for Black women in particular to get the right to vote. And
I know
so,
that.
this is a precious tool in our society. And that's why it's so important that at the very beginning of your uh, your life, really, in society, you come of age, you now have the right to vote. You have the right to enlist in the army. And it's important that you use that right. And it'll be a lifelong tool that you'll be able to use to help shape the society that you want to live in. So I'm proud of you. Again, there are many who are much older than you, Sierra, who have taken that right to vote for granted. And we see that voting has consequences. We're experiencing very tumultuous time because many of us did not use our right to vote in the last election. And had we done that, I think life would be a lot different for our neighbors, our friends, our community. But when we don't use our right to vote, what we're actually doing is giving others the power to determine our destiny. So I'm really, again, I can't express to you how proud I am of you for at the age of 17, preparing yourself, knowing that your birthday is going to come just before the election to register and to vote. And in some parts of the country, I know in New York State, you can actually pre-register. So at age 16, you can actually pre-register to vote in New York State so that when your birthday comes and you're 18, you're already in the system. You just need to go and cast your ballot.
Thank you.
That's awesome. That is powerful. Words of wisdom. Thank you very much, Congresswoman. Angela, do you have anything you want to, a few questions that you?
I had a question for Congresswoman Clark, and that is one thing that I find very important for young girls and all of us, quite frankly, are mentors. And I just wanted to ask you, you've been around in Congress for a long time, but I'm sure that along the way you have had mentors yourself. So can you tell us, what that sort of relationship is like for you, and what would you encourage these young ladies to do in regards to having mentors themselves? What is the value of it to, as far as you have experienced?
That's a great question, Angela. Mentoring is like having a guide that helps you in life to navigate not only your personal interests, but your growth, your development, and your ability to navigate the world. And I was very, very fortunate on many different levels. I had been privileged to actually have a mentor in one of my employers. And she was the very first employer I had. Her name was V. Renee Williams, and she ran a community-based organization in the neighborhood in which I lived. And she employed me. She was a role model. She really laid out for me the mission of service to a community that needed the talent, the skill, and the expertise that I had to bring, my knowledge that I had to bring to help others to gain knowledge. And she was a really, really powerful woman in our community, because what the office that she ran helped to empower other people that lived in our community. She ran a housing agency. And what that housing agency did was it organized residents of buildings that were, these residents, these tenants were being abused by their landlords. They were paying rent, but they weren't receiving any services. So we would go into these buildings in New York City and Brooklyn, where I live. You can have over 100 people living in one building. And if that building is ill maintained, children can be in households where they have rats running around, roaches running around. That contributes to asthma and poor living conditions. So we organized these tenants, many of whom were working women, to be able to fight for their rights, their housing rights, to be able to take over their buildings where their landlords were absentee, to create a wholesome environment. And it was V. Renee Williams who really taught me how to use my voice to motivate others to be engaged in their own plight and to become leaders in that space. I also had the benefit of having an activist mom in my household, and it's nothing greater than having a mother who also serves as a mentor. And I've been blessed throughout my life where I've been able to just through our mother-daughter relationship learn so much from my mom about what it is to stand on your own 2 feet and recognize that, as my mother would say, when God was giving out brains, he gave it to everyone, regardless of their background, their race, their gender. And it's just up to us to use our brains. And then when we use our brains, use our voice in concert with our brains, and we can bring change and affect change. So my mom has been an extraordinary mentor to me. I've then gone on to meet so many, and as it turns out, women who have mentored me throughout my life, who have been my employers. And I use my curiosity around service to others to actually meet these women, to encourage them and to talk them into employing me. And as a result, I was a staffer for 2 elected women prior to ever even thinking that I would run for elective office. So I understood what it was to be in service to people through elective office. It's so important, if you have a goal in mind, that you reach out to people who are doing something very similar to what it is that you want to do in life, and ask them about what it is that encouraged them, or who it was that encouraged them to move into that endeavor. And then ask the question, ask the question whether they would mentor you. And if it was okay if you exchange email addresses and you exchange phone numbers, and you talk from time to time. And I find that people are very, very open to that, because they want to see their legacy live on in other people who may be younger than they are. They know that in engaging with you, they can impart wisdom, they can help you not to experience some of the challenges that they may have faced, or be prepared should you face those challenges that they have faced previously. What I have learned to do is to live vicariously through other people's experiences, so that I don't necessarily have to experience it myself, but because I have witnessed what others have gone through, I can navigate different circumstances and different situations based on how others have handled those situations. So mentors are very important, and it can really be fulfilling in terms of your life.
Well, that is amazing. Thank you so much. I want you to stay right there, Congresswoman Clark. Do not go anywhere. But Dr. Arikana is in the room, and we keep losing her. So we're going to try to bring her on right now before we lose her again. So Destiny, you had a question earlier for Dr. Arikana, and I think she's back on now. Is she on? Did we lose her again? Okay, Dr. Arikana, can you hear us?
I
Say
think
hello.
she's trying to make her way into the room.
Oh my goodness. I think we might have lost her, but those were powerful words.
Yeah, I think, oh, here she comes. Oh, there she is. Welcome, Dr. Arikana.
Dr. Arikana, welcome, welcome. We have an army here, a girl tribe. We have 3 girls that are here waiting for you.
The system was kicking me out. I don't know why. Guess it doesn't like me. Congresswoman Clark, how are you?
We love you.
We love you too. Thank you. Hi, young ladies. Is it my turn?
Yes, go ahead and talk with the young ladies, and they had their question for you, but you weren't here, so we'll go through all that again and listen to your words of wisdom for them.
Okay, our sister, Lorna Johnson, has asked me to talk to you about the importance of heritage, of knowing who you are, knowing where you come from, and staying anchored to your base. I want all of you to know that as young Black women, when you look at me, when you look at Congresswoman Clark, when you look at Lorna Johnson, Honorable Lorna Johnson, and many other women around you, I want you to know that without us, there would not be any humanity as we know it. Life as we know it was given birth by a woman. I like to let young people know that before they were, we were. We are the origin of humanity as Black people. Without the Black woman, there would not be any humanity as we know it. I don't know if you young people realize that. I tell guys, regardless of their skin color, that they ought to get up every day and get on their knees and thank the Black woman for who they are. That's how important you are to this world. That's how important you are to humanity. And for you, that place is none other than the beloved continent of Africa. That's where life began. And that is where your heritage is. The most beautiful continent on earth, the richest continent on earth, with every natural resource, every riches that the world could ever think of, it can be found in Africa. You want diamonds? Check. You want gold? Check. You want emeralds, rubies, sapphires? It's all there in your Africa. And that is the place I want you to claim as your base, as your anchor. Because when you stay connected to your anchor, you can go anywhere else on earth and you will flourish because your anchor is in place. So when you find yourself
Okay. Well, that was, I told you that you would learn all you need to know about yourself in Africa. Once you get to know Dr. Arikana, you will know who you are, where you're coming from, and where you need to go. Well, time is flying. We've had some powerful conversation. We talk about the power of the woman, and that's what Sojourner Truth talk about. Ain't I a woman? And that's what you just heard from Dr. Arikana. So I want to thank all of you ladies for coming in this evening and listening to these powerful words. And I hope you're taking away that you can move away from here knowing that you can be anything that you want to be. You are Black and beautiful and strong, and there's nothing that you want to achieve that you cannot achieve. So be bold, be brave, be free. So that's what I want you to take away from today, and be whatever you want to be. So at this time, I think is it time for closing out, or do we have a few more minutes? Have a few more minutes? Okay. Anybody else like to say a few little words before we close off?
I'll say
Listening.
something. As I met everyone today, I was really thankful for where I am, especially for being on the live today. And I've learned a lot of new stuff, especially for the person that sent me the email, the letter. I learned a lot of new things from every woman and girl right now. And when I do become a doctor and do get up there, I do want to still reach out to you guys and let you know how I'm doing, and just want to be the best I can.
That is beautiful. And I want all of you to know that you can reach out to all of us. And you will know how after we get off this town hall, we will share with you our information, and hopefully you will keep in touch we will keep in touch with you, and I will encourage the tribe mothers to make sure that you are taken care of. Okay, so that's great. We're going to wrap it up now, I think. So I want to thank you, all of you ladies. Any of the ladies want to say anything? Sierra, do you have anything else you want to close out with? Sierra? Yes. Do you want to say anything else before we go off air?
She's muted.
Are you muted? You have to
You're
unmute
muted.
yourself,
You're
Sierra.
muted.
Can you hear me? Can
Okay.
you hear me now? Okay.
Yes. Go ahead.
I just want to encourage my drum line, the Los Angeles Permalets. That I want every one of y'all, my drum members, to vote with me so you can get your voice out there and let's just and let's just win. Let's just be a community and be together and empower each other and work together so we can all come together as a family and make the world a better place.
Awesome. Awesome. What about you, Lamaya? I'll give you the last word.
I just want to say to all my friends, be strong, be brave, be smart, and always stay together.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And I must give a shout out to Lakeisha Mack. Lakeisha Mack runs the drum line that I have worked with her in the inner city as an after school program where we teach the kids music. And Sierra is one of our drummers. So
Yeah, she's
it's a
amazing.
nice little group going there. So shout out to the drum line and Lakeisha Mack. Keep it going. Thank you guys for all the
I
work
have
that you're
one quote. Can I leave with a quote, Lorna?
doing. Go ahead. Uh-huh.
Yeah, I just want to, close myself with a Nelson Mandela's quote that says, it always seems impossible until it is done." And, all of you young ladies have, talked about, just what you're aspiring to do and what you will do. And I just say, take action. It's one thing to say stuff, but it's also more important to do it. So, we're here for you. Carpe diem, seize the moment and go make the change. Be the change you want to see. Thanks,
Awesome.
Lorna.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank each and every one of you for joining me this afternoon. Representative Clark, thank you for being the champion that you are. Sorry we weren't able to have Maxine join us this afternoon, but I know she sent a beautiful letter, words of inspiration, and we are going to take it. Sherry Lee Ralph didn't make it, but Moesha is hitting Netflix next month, and we want to thank her for her inspiring word for you ladies. Dr. Shiambore Kwa, thank you for helping us see ourselves as we support you in the chair as the next chair of the African Union. Thanks for helping us to understand our Africanness. Thank you so much. And Angela, what can I say? You have been a champion, a true co-moderator. I really, really appreciate you. And I have to also give a shout out to my mother, Dr. Una Clark, who is my mentor and friend, and I would be remiss if I go without saying how beautiful and have a great mentor and how lucky Congresswoman Clark is to have a mother like Dr. Una Clark. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all very much for listening in to the town hall today. We had enjoyed these awesome young ladies, and I hope if you know young ladies that need some help, that you will reach out to them as we continue to grow and build a bridge through these conversations. And in close today, we'll have a conversation from Sojourner Truth, having that she spoke about when she was in Congress, and it will be acted out by the incomparable, amazing, talented Cicely Tyson, who is also another mentor, friend, and my shiro. Again, thank you for listening to this special edition of Lorna M. Johnson Global Institute. We thank you all for listening, and I hope you enjoy the show and is having a good time. So stay tuned and listen to Ain't I a Woman?
Well, children, where there's so much racket, there must be something out of kilter. I think between the women of the North and the Negroes of the South, all thinking about rights, you white men gonna be in a fix pretty soon. Well, what's all this talking about? This man over there, yes, you, he said women's have to be helped into carriages, lifted over ditches, and to have the best place everywhere. Well, nobody ever helped me in no carriage. Over no mud puddles or gives me any best place, and ain't our woman. Look at me. Look at my arms. I done plowed and planted and gathered into barns, and no man could head me. And ain't our woman? Then they talk about this thing in the head, but I'm not going there yet, because I want to tell you that I done birthed 13 children and sort of most all sold out to slavery. And when I cried out with a mother's grief, none but Jesus heard me, and ain't that a woman? Then they talks about this thing in the head. What's that they call it? They call it intellect. Intellect, that's it, sugar. What's that got to do with women's rights or Negroes' rights? If my cup don't hold but a pint and your'n hold a quart, wouldn't you be mean not to let me have my little half a pint? Huh? Then, this man in the black, yes, he says, women's can't have as much rights as men's because Christ wasn't a woman. Well, where your Christ come from? Where your Christ come from? From God and a woman. Man didn't have nothing to do with it. Now, if the first woman God ever made was able to take this world and turn it upside down, all these women's hair together ought to be able to get it back and turn it right side up again. And now they's asking to do it. You men better let them. That's all I have to say. Much obliged for you listening to me. Thank you very much.